She closed her eyes, waiting for the beast to eat her. But a human saved her. The night was cold, and the air heavy with the smell of blood and fear. She lay on the ground, shivering, her body bruised, and torn, her spirit nearly broken. The forest around her was dark and full of hidden terrors, but she could not move any more. The beast stood over her, its eyes glowing faintly in the shadows, its breath coming out in deep, slow gusts that stirred the dirt around her. She closed her eyes, ready for the end, ready to be devoured and forgotten. There was nothing left inside her, no strength, no hope. She waited for the beast to strike, waited for the pain that would take her away from all of it. But it never came. Instead, there was a sound, a sharp crack, and then a roar of pain from the creature. She opened her eyes in shock. There, standing between her and the beast, was a figure of man silhouetted against the moonlight. He held a long metal staff in his hands, its end sparking with strange energy. The beast snarled and lunged, but the man moved faster, striking hard and true. The fight was brutal, but it ended quickly. The beast fell with a final shudder, its body steaming in the cold night air. The man turned to her, his face grim, but his eyes filled with something she had not seen in a long time. Kindness. "You are safe now," he said, his voice rough but gentle. She tried to speak, but only a broken sob escaped her lips. "Easy, easy," he said, kneeling beside her. "I am going to help you." He lifted her carefully as if she were made of glass, cradling her against his chest. She was too weak to resist, too tired to even think. She let herself be carried away from the place where she had almost died. He brought her to a small camp hidden deep within the forest. There was a fire burning bright and warm, and a small shelter made of wood and cloth. He laid her down gently near the fire, wrapping a thick blanket around her. "Stay here," he said. "I will get you some water." She watched him move around the camp, swift and sure, setting things in order. When he returned, he held a wooden cup to her lips, and she drank greedily the cool water, washing away the taste of fear from her mouth. "Thank you," she managed to whisper, her voice barely audible. He smiled a little and nodded. "Rest now," he said. "You are safe." For the first time in what felt like forever, she believed him. She slept deeply that night, the first true sleep she had known in years. When she woke the next morning, the sun was rising, turning the sky a soft pink. The man was sitting by the fire, sharpening a blade with slow, careful strokes. "Good morning," he said, glancing at her with a small smile. "How do you feel?" So she said, honestly, but better. He nodded as if that was what he expected. "You are lucky," he said. "That thing would have torn you apart." She shivered at the memory. "What was it?" she asked. "A hunter," he said. "Not from this world. It feeds on fear and weakness." She looked at him, truly looked at him for the first time. He was not like anyone she had ever seen before. Tall and strong, with a face that had seen many battles, but eyes that had not lost their light. "Who are you?" she asked. "Just a traveler," he said with a shrug. "Someone who does not like seeing good people get eaten." She smiled faintly at that. "My name is Elara," she said. "I am Jason," he replied. "It is good to meet you, Elara, even under these circumstances." They spent the day together, Jason tending to her wounds and gathering food, while Elara rested and regained her strength. She learned that Jason was from another world far away, a place called Earth. He had come to her world by accident, caught in a storm of stars and unable to find his way home. He had survived by his wits and his strength, helping those he could and fighting off the monsters that roamed the wilds. As the days passed, Elara grew stronger, and she and Jason grew closer. He taught her how to defend herself, how to move silently through the forest, how to find food and water. She taught him the songs of her people, the stories of her land, the secret paths that led through the mountains. They became partners and friends, and something more, though neither of them spoke of it. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Elara turned to him, her heart pounding. "Why did you save me?" she asked. "You did not even know me." Jason stared into the fire for a long moment before answering. "Because you deserve to live," he said finally. "Because no one deserves to die alone and afraid." She felt tears prick her eyes, and she looked away embarrassed. "Thank you," she said again. "You gave me my life back." He reached out and took her hand in his strong, callous one. "You gave me something too," he said. "Hope." They sat in silence for a while, the fire crackling between them. The forest around them was still and peaceful. The dangers of the world held at bay for one more night. As time went on, they built a life together. A small, simple life, but a good one. They found an abandoned cabin deep in the woods and made it their home. They planted a garden, hunted, and fished, built furniture with their own hands. It was hard work, but it was honest, and it made them happy. They laughed often, sharing stories and jokes by the fire. They faced dangers, too, wolves and bandits and other beasts like the one that had almost killed Elara. But they faced them together, and together they were strong. One day, as they sat on the porch watching the sun set, Jason turned to her and smiled. "I never thought I would find a home here," he said. "But with you it feels like I have." Elara smiled back, her heart full. "I never thought I would live to see another sunset," she said. "But with you I have." They leaned against each other, watching as the sky turned gold and crimson. No words were needed. They understood each other perfectly. Years passed, and their love only grew. They built a family and taught their children the skills they had learned. They told them stories of bravery and kindness, of monsters and heroes. And every night they would sit by the fire, holding hands, watching the flames dance. Elara never forgot the night when she had closed her eyes and waited for death. She never forgot the feeling of despair, the certainty that she was alone and lost. And she never forgot the man who had reached into that darkness and pulled her back into the light. Jason, her savior, her friend, her lover, home. In the end, it was not the strength of his arm or the sharpness of his blade that saved her. It was his heart, his refusal to let her die forgotten, his willingness to see her not as a victim, but as a person worth saving. And because of him she lived. Because of him she loved. Because of him she found joy in a world that had once seemed only full of pain. She knew that life was fragile, that monsters still lurked in the shadows. But she also knew that as long as they faced the darkness together, there was nothing they could not overcome. She closed her eyes once more, not in fear this time, but in peace, as Jason held her close, and the fire warmed them both. The stars glittered overhead, silent witnesses to a love that had survived the worst the universe could throw at it. And in that moment all was well.